In the halls of his new high school, Tanaka is a legend. They call him the Mad Dog, a delinquent who's never lost a fight. But with no one left to challenge him, he's just bored. Then, a careless bump in the hallway. He whirls around, ready to tear into whoever it was. It's just a quiet girl with glasses. He scoffs, but she doesn't cower. Instead, she calmly tells him he's the one in the way. Tanaka is completely stunned. No one has ever spoken to him like that. A flicker of rage crosses his face, but then he sees her eyes. Her intense gaze stops him dead in his tracks. He falters, and in that single moment of hesitation, she's gone. He spends the entire day fuming, unable to get her out of his head. He finally spots her again, slamming her against the wall. He tells her if she knows who he is, this is her last chance to apologize. She looks down, quietly confirming that she knows all about him. Then she begins to list off his entire life story. His full name, his personality quirks, his history as the Mad Dog. Tanaka's blood runs cold. He's completely frozen in shock. He stammers, demanding to know how she knows so much. She suddenly grabs him, pulling him close by the neck. She looks him dead in the eye. That twisted, distressed face of his, she whispers, is very cute. His mind goes blank. He can't process what she's saying. He shoves her away, screaming that she's a creep as she vanishes once more. But later, the memory of her words makes his entire face burn red. He gets a mysterious summons to an empty classroom after school. He scoffs, thinking he's not doing this because she told him to. Arriving at the designated room, he cautiously scans the empty hallway. A voice suddenly whispers his name right behind him. He yelps in shock as the girl emerges from inside the classroom. She calmly invites him in, a faint, knowing smile on her face. Once inside, she asks him bluntly why he's so interested in her. But she quickly changes the subject, admitting she's curious about delinquents. He's stunned, realizing this feared woman is just a naive girl. Her attention then shifts to his ears, asking how he got his piercings. He brags that you can even do it yourself with a safety pin. Her eyes light up with a sudden idea. She wants to try piercing too. He thinks she means on herself, but she slowly shakes her head. What she wants to pierce, she clarifies, is his ear. His mind goes completely blank, only able to utter a confused, huh? In the next moment, he's on the floor, pinned down in her lap. She holds a safety pin to his ear, telling him she's going to pierce it. He begins to tremble as she prepares to push the pin through. She looks down at his terrified expression and softly calls him cute. He finds himself unable to resist her, his will melting away. When it's over, she tells him he did a good job. He sits up in a daze, touching the brand new piercing in his ear. He asks what this was all for, what she could possibly want from him. She leans in close, her fingers gently brushing against his earlobe. This, she declares, is a mark, a sign that he now belongs to her. He demands to know if she's crazy, calling her a dog. She simply asks if he understands, expecting him to reply. He screams in frustration, completely unable to process the situation. He runs off, vowing that he's going home before he loses his mind. She watches him leave, her expression turning strangely melancholic. Alone in the classroom, she quietly holds a small, clear object. It's a name tag from elementary school, bearing his full name. She whispers that she has been looking for him for so long. He runs home, clutching his head, unable to understand this new feeling. The tough delinquent has become completely captive to the quiet girl. A dull throb from his ear reminds him of that annoying thing. Every time the piercing hurts, he remembers her face. She had lured him to that empty classroom, then vanished. He thinks to himself that he'll never take this piercing off. He slides the classroom door open, his face set like stone, and there she is, standing alone by the window. She turns with a gentle smile, saying it's been a long time. He's relieved she didn't run, waiting so diligently for him. She notes that he's wearing the piercing. Such a good boy. A vicious snarl flashes in his mind. He's no one's good boy. He tells her not to misunderstand. He came here to talk. He grins, declaring this is a statement of war. And then, to his complete disbelief, she starts to laugh. He demands to know what could possibly be so funny. She says he looks foolish but cute, and she's losing self-control. Her words hit him squarely in the chest. He's completely lost. He grabs her from behind, reminding her he is the vicious dog. But in the next moment, he finds himself being held by her instead. With a chilling smile, she tells him he has been her dog for a long time. He feels a profound humiliation he has never known before. His face burns as he stammers out a mortified apology. She touches his cheek, calling him comfortable, a good boy. With a click, she snaps a photo on her phone. She asks if he wants to see her collection of funny Tanaka photos. Her phone screen reveals a grid of his face. Candid shots scattered everywhere. He realizes she's been doing this for ages, and she just smiles. Tanaka, the school's feared wild dog, had one person he couldn't defeat. A quiet girl with glasses held an embarrassing photo of him hostage. He lunges for her phone, demanding she delete the picture. She pulls it back with a calm smile, asking, "You mean this one?" He groans as she reveals she has plenty of backups. He corners her, ordering her to meet him in an empty classroom after school. When he arrives, she greets him with a gentle smile. "Smart, you came today too." Then she calls him by a name he despises, Masami-kun. He freezes, his face a mask of pure shock. He yells that he hates his first name, that it sounds like a girl's. Unfazed, she calmly states that she will call him Masami-kun. She smiles slyly, adding that his annoyed face is cute. He clenches his fists, realizing he doesn't even know her name. "Fuyuko," she says plainly. "Suzuki Fuyuko, that is my name." He stares, completely stunned that she gave it up so easily. He stammers out her name. Suzuki. Her eyes widen as she asks what's gotten into him. Suddenly, he grabs her face, pulling her in close. His voice is low and intense. "Don't use my last name." He tightens his grip slightly. "You must use my first name." "Look at me," he commands, "and say it properly." Her lips part as she whispers, "Masami-kun." A deep, undeniable blush spreads across his face. Later, Fuyuko arrives home, looking unusually cheerful. She happily tells her sister that the dog she's taming finally called her by name. Elsewhere, Tanaka is ambushed by rivals, still blushing and yelling about Fuyuko. Masami stands bruised and battered after a fight, his shirt torn. Other students whisper, seeing him covered in blood. He just won a 5-on-1, but he's not celebrating. All he can think is what she will say when she sees him. He imagines her smiling, calling his bruised face cute. The thought makes him shudder. He's starting to understand her. He turns a corner and freezes. Fuyuko is staring right at him. Her expression is completely unreadable. It's not her usual smile. She calmly opens a first aid kit and tells him to sit. He hesitates, insisting a few cuts are nothing. She ignores him, pressing a disinfectant swab to his cheek. He yelps as it stings, his face contorting in pain. She tells him to stop acting tough and just sit down. As she tends to his wounds, she asks if he got in another fight. Her voice is soft. She says his injuries look like they must hurt. He's completely stunned. Is this genuine concern? Her hand gently brushes against his bandaged ear. Then her expression turns cold. How dare they hurt my Masami-kun? His eyes go wide. His heart pounds in his chest. Flustered, he tries to get up and leave, cursing under his breath. But his vision swims, and he collapses to the floor. His head lands softly in her lap. She gazes down at him. He feels a strange warmth, noticing she smells nice. Then she pulls out a bottle of eye drops, her face impassive. He panics, trying to refuse, but she pins him with her stare. She tells him to relax, to just look into her eyes. He squeezes his eyes shut, but it's no use. A single drop falls. Tears stream down his face. She looks down at him, a faint, satisfied smile on her lips. He cries out, trapped and utterly defeated. A few days later, he stands in front of his bathroom mirror. He stares in disbelief at his own reflection. The wounds Fuyuko treated healed twice as fast as usual. He touches his face, a slow dread washing over him. Just what is this girl's mysterious power? The school's feared mad dog Tanaka gets an unexpected phone call. He abruptly takes off running, leaving his friend shouting behind him. On the other end, a girl's voice calmly says she knows everything about him. She tells him they are going out today. He follows her, completely bewildered, into a noisy arcade. His heart sinks when he sees their destination, the photo booth area. It's a place filled with couples, an absolute nightmare for him. He thinks his mad dog reputation is about to be shattered. Suddenly, he spots his friend Nakamura in the distance. In a panic, he grabs the girl, shoving her into a nearby booth to hide. His friends walk by, joking about who would ever go in there. Trapped inside, she calmly announces the countdown has started. A chipper voice from the machine instructs them to do an animal pose. Tanaka freezes, his face a mask of pure horror. But then, she strikes a perfect cat pose, a small smile on her face. She tells him to hurry up and do it too. Defeated, he awkwardly raises his hands, his cheeks burning with shame. For the final shot, the machine announces a free pose. She suddenly wraps her arms around his neck from behind. He's completely stunned, his face turning bright red. After, she walks beside him, happily looking over the printed photos. She holds one out to him as a souvenir of their first outing. He snatches it, telling her he doesn't need it. The next day, he asks his friend if he was at the arcade. As Tanaka walks away, the photo slips from his pocket. Nakamura picks it up, staring in disbelief at Tanaka wearing cat ears. His friend was known as his loyal right-hand man. And he was Tanaka, feared by all as the wild dog. But recently, the friend found something he shouldn't have. A photo of Tanaka, flustered, with cat ears on. Next to him, a calm girl in glasses held him by the arm. The friend feels a strange mix of guilt and satisfaction. He finds Tanaka on the stairs, stewing in his thoughts. Tanaka confesses there's an opponent he just can't beat. Someone who gets under his skin, whose face is always in his mind. The friend thinks to himself that Tanaka has finally fallen in love. He decides to secretly return the photo he'd found. But as he heads to the classroom, he sees Tanaka in the hall. And standing before him is the girl from the photo. Tanaka stops dead, his face a mask of pure panic. She asks him if he still has the photo booth picture from yesterday. She explains she wants to scan the QR code to get the file. He stammers, claiming he can't remember where he put it. Her face falls. She asks if he's telling her it's lost. She warns him that if someone else were to find that picture, his fierce dog nickname would become nothing but a joke. Tanaka finally cracks, clutching his head in frustration. He demands to know what's actually wrong with him. She calmly tells him to relax and check under his desk. He kneels down and pulls out the photo, breathing a sigh of relief. A small smile plays on her lips as she notes he kept it. She reminds him he once said he didn't even want it. Tanaka turns beet red, stammering that it's not like that at all. She just tells him not to lose it again next time. His eyes are locked on her, unable to look away. A friend watches from the doorway, a new feeling stirring, a mix of guilt and satisfaction, and something else. He sees Tanaka, so pitiful and flustered. He sees the two of them together, and his own heart begins to pound. He claps a hand over his mouth, swallowing hard. What is this feeling? What is wrong with him? A boy named Tanaka wakes with grim determination. He gets ready, a storm brewing behind his eyes. He's come to school early for one person, her. Suzuki Fuyuko, the girl who always slips through his grasp. He vows to expose her secrets, to finally gain the upper hand. He watches from the shadows as she calmly waters flowers. He's convinced it's a front for something sinister, but his day of observation reveals nothing but ordinary moments. From her perspective, he's the strange one. She finds herself disappointed by his quiet, model student behavior. She wonders where the fearsome mad dog has gone. Trouble finds her in the form of other delinquents. They corner her, their words turning to threats. Papers scatter across the floor as they shove past her, but a dark shadow falls over them. Tanaka is here. His eyes burn with rage, fangs practically bared. The delinquents freeze, recognizing the real threat. In a flash of violence, it's over. He stands victorious. He turns to leave, trying to play it cool. She calls out his name, a quiet word of thanks. He scoffs, but she grabs his arm, stopping him cold. He realizes, with a jolt, she knew he was watching all day. His tough facade crumbles into pure embarrassment. She looks at him, her own eyes suddenly welling with tears. She thinks to herself that he hasn't changed at all. He just stares, completely lost, as she gently moves in to tend to his wounds. Tanaka Masami, the school delinquent, boasts about his sharp fangs. A quiet girl, Nishizono, calmly asks to see them up close. He flinches back as she leans in, her stare uncomfortably intense. She coolly orders him to open his mouth again. Before he can protest, she shoves her finger right past his lips. The strange, invasive feeling makes him gasp, his body going rigid. She calls him a good boy for not biting, leaving him stunned. He's barely recovered when she pulls out a brand new toothbrush. She announces that while she's at it, she'll brush his teeth. He blurts out that he'll only agree if she lets him touch her mouth too. To his complete shock, she instantly agrees to the deal. He freezes, realizing he was just bluffing and is now trapped. She gently guides him into a chair and begins brushing. The bristles slide over his teeth, then his gums. He can't help but let out a low moan, completely overwhelmed. Nishizono looks down at him, calling his flustered reaction cute. He can only stare back, a mess of blush and drool. Then she reminds him that now it's his turn. He panics, realizing he actually has to go through with it. She opens her mouth wide for him to see. He's stunned. He's never seen her teeth and tongue before. Annoyed by his hesitation, she suddenly bites her own finger. She licks the small wound at the tip. Holding her wet finger to his lips, she asks if he's satisfied now. As they finally leave the empty classroom, a pair of eyes watch them go. A student council member smirks, noting she has all the proof she needs. The school's mad dog, Tanaka, is at it again. Student council president Taniguchi arrives on the scene. She calls out, telling them to stop making trouble. And then, Tanaka freezes completely. Taniguchi stares, shocked that he actually listened. She can't figure out what just happened. Her eyes drift upwards, landing on a lone figure. The quiet girl, Nishizono, watching from the balcony above. As soon as their eyes meet, Nishizono turns and vanishes. Something feels deeply wrong. Taniguchi takes off running. She follows Nishizono to an abandoned part of the school. She watches her slip into a dark, empty classroom alone. Taniguchi's mind races with terrible possibilities. Then she hears a rustling sound from a utility closet. She thinks to herself that Nishizono was forced inside. Steeling herself, she grips the handle. She has to help. She throws the door wide open. Inside, she finds Nishizono and Tanaka in a tight embrace. Taniguchi's jaw drops. Her world tilts on its axis. It all clicks. She has made a terrible mistake. Mortified, she slowly, quietly closes the door. Inside the closet, Tanaka is losing his mind with relief. He can't believe they were almost caught. Nishizono just smiles, completely unfazed by the close call. She pats his head, calling him a good boy for waiting. Later, she heads out, telling her sister she's going to see her dog.